I'm Bob Gallagher, the mayor of the city of Bettendorf, Iowa. Today is Friday, September 5th, 2025. Welcome to our evidence locker at the Bettendorf Police Department. We're going to talk today with our police chief, Doug Scott. Doug, welcome to the mayor's message.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. We're asking you to vote on a referendum November 4th at the regular time that you would cast your ballot for the police station. So we've seen online a lot of different comments that made us think we better get ahead of this and tell you the facts. We're going to kind of bust some myths today. And for that, we have our police chief. So, Chief, a lot of comments are directed at the pedestrian bridge and the money the city has decided to spend there as part of a development agreement to get people from point A to B, TBK Bank Sports Complex 1 to 2, that we agreed to do as part of the tax increment financing or TIF development agreement out there. Why can't we use that money towards this police station?
Yeah, great question, Mayor. So trying to sum it up and keep it as simple as possible. The money that was generated by the taxes in the TIF district, so in that area around TBK, that money has to stay inside of that development. We can't utilize that money on other projects outside of the city. So by utilizing the money for the bonds that we're asking for, that's how we would build the department, not being able to use the money that would have been used to build the pedestrian bridge.
There's also some questions about why we can't just expand where you're at. 27 feels like a ton of money. Can you do half of that money and expand? Tell the folks at home what type of process we went through to come to the most efficient and cost-effective way to create what we need here in Bettendorf for the police department.
No, also another good question. So a lot to unpack there. To start off, I would say 2023, October, we went through a selection process. Architects hired to help us do a staffing study, help us do a facility needs study. That's how we first started this whole process. Throughout all of that process, that led us to what size space does a police department need? What size space does City Hall needs? How would we accommodate all of those things? We looked at purchasing buildings and renovating buildings. We looked at purchasing land, building land. What we landed on after it was all said and done and we worked through was building a purpose-built police department, one that your city's never had, in order to create what we need for the foreseeable future, for growth, for expansion, and all of those things. When you're asking about
the downtown space here, couldn't we expand? We've only got about 15,000 square foot of everything, including the stuff outside with the cars in the car park.
That's absolutely right.
We cannot evidence building, which is outdated. We can't keep doing this.
We can't. We're full. We're absolutely full. We cannot go up. We have infrastructure on top of the roof that will not allow us to go up. We cannot go forward because we have the plaza. We cannot go rearward because that's our parking for our squad cars. We can't go side to side because we're landlocked between the fire department and City Hall.
So as we take a look at that coming need, we're looking to build on ground we already own. That reduces the price and makes it more cost effective. And the type of building that we need has to be more secure than you have now. Has to have a place where you can talk to victims or members of the community that don't come into a secured area. Has to have something for evidence and all of the other things that you have talked to the community about. There's a concern that we're leaving downtown, and that's going to be a problem. City Hall will stay here. The fire department will stay here. But why move to that ground we already own right by Public Works?
So when we look at the map, we see it as being centrally located.
I think it is.
So being centrally located allows us a lot of opportunity. It allows us to be between both high schools, PB High School, Bettendorf High School, other schools. St. Joan of Arc just went up north further. We have elementary schools popping up. So it helps us go through our higher threat protection areas that we have concerns over. TBK growth up north. It allows all officers to respond to that central location if they need to meet with somebody, if they need to get equipment, if they need to take a break, if they need to meet with the public, anything like that. However, all that being said, we are not abandoning the downtown. The reason that we're not is because we do geographical beat assignments. So when patrol comes in for their shifts, they get assigned an area. So let's say the southwest corner of town, our area 1 would always be staffed by an officer in that area, just like it is today. Absolutely. Yeah. And that goes for the entire city. So we're not leaving that area. You've mentioned the dollar amount. I'd also like just to point out, we've compared this to other commercially built buildings, and the police department does have special needs, but we're in line or lower in what this cost will be comparatively. This is not an extravagant building. We're not asking for everything that we could possibly ask for. I think we've done a very good job trying to shrink down what the needs are to provide good training space, good meeting space, good workspace, and just be able to provide those services that the community wants.
If you compared our station to Moline and Rock Island, similarly situated in the Quad Cities, about the same population, right? About 40,000. What do you find?
We have 10,000 square foot upstairs in this garage space that hosts this evidence garage. So a total of 15,000 square foot. They have 55,000 square foot total and 65,000 square foot total. So as you can tell, we are substantially smaller and we are growing, and we don't have the amenities that they have to be able to do their training internally, to have the spaces that they need internally, to interact with the public internally. We just don't have those spaces here.
The new building is going to be how many square feet?
40,000 for the building portion and 15,000 for the garage. And there's a lot of conversation about the garage. Do you need a garage? Needs and wants. This is a debatable topic. I'll tell you from an officer's perspective, to be able to come in and be in the garage, shut the garage doors, and having someone who's arrested, who may be violent, wants to flee, doesn't want to be with you, to get them into the building is a huge advantage for the public. We've had people try to cut into our fence. We've had people try to get into the security of this building, and be able to have that garage space in order to act as a sally port is huge. Being able to have your officers have all their equipment right there to be able to grab, load up their vehicles without having to move throughout space and buildings, and able to do that is an efficiency and a timeliness in response to the public.
That's important.
It is very important, in my opinion. When you are looking at parking cars inside, these squad cars are mobile offices. They have a lot of hardware inside them, electronics, from printers, computers, radar, you name it, it's inside there. It's almost like a little cockpit for a space shuttle. And when those sit out in the environment, they wear and tear on those vehicles and break. When they break, they come out of service. When they come out of service, that's another vehicle that we can't be utilizing to be out in the community. So what we're really trying to do is increase the longevity of those components inside those vehicles so that we can have a longer lifespan and less vehicles out of service, so we can go out and do the job that you want us to do.
Yeah. And you're going to save money. You don't have to have a car outside running all the time. You
Absolutely.
Pull into a garage, turn it off, do your work, make your report, go back on the beat.
Exactly the way it works.
So what can you do? Come take a tour. I'm begging you. Come down and see what we have now. And then ask yourself, is that how you want your public safety to live? Is that the type of environment you want your cops in each and every day, 24/7? Come take a tour. How can we do that?
It's on the website.
We'll
Station
put it right
info.
on there for you.
We'll put it on here. Thank you. And then we have tours every week from now until the election. You can come in. You can see the facilities. We'll answer any questions that you have. We're not trying to hide anything here. We really think this is a benefit to not just the officers here, but really to the public at the end of the day.
How long does that tour take?
I would say 30 minutes, unless you want to ask a lot of questions, and then it's as long as you want us for.
Half hour of your time. Every week this is going on. Please come take a tour. It's your police station. These folks serve you. Thanks so much for joining us. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you next week.